of Islam, and the Waqid of Islam. You were the guys that chose the book. The students were the guys that chose the book.
Nullify.
And I went over the, yes, exactly.
Ten nullify the Islam.
Okay, and we had mentioned that the Ismu Fa'il, when we talked about the importance of the Arabic language, Naqid, Nawaqid. Naqid of al-Islam, the Nawaqid. We mentioned that. No one remembers that? None of you brothers? Okay. So we come to the Nawaqid in the next class about the Nawaqid of al-Islam. The young brother Lamine from Gambia, you know that kid?
Yeah, he's working today.
He contacted me. He's a student and he memorizes and he writes down and he comes ready and he's serious. The kid Rayyan and the other one, he came late today.
Imran.
What's his name? Imran. I don't know, but those guys, they write down. You guys, you attend. Like the question of the Nawaqid, you start talking about the Arkan or the Aqsam of the Tauheed. Huh? You wasn't here that day? I don't remember. But it was important because it was from the introduction of the book itself that you guys chose, the students. You guys chose it. I said, okay, if you want to do it. But I wanted you to be serious about it.
It's a good book in this.
Hmm?
Yeah, it was Rayyan, Imran, and Lamim that chose the book. Not good on it. It's a good book.
Okay, no problem, inshallah, no problem. And then they're not even here. Okay, no problem. So the Naqid and the Nawaqid. The singular is the Naqid of al-Islam. The plural is in Nawaqid. We went through all of that. Unbelievable. So now, earlier we dealt with the issue of Kitabut Tauheed. Kitab At-Thahabi. That's what we dealt with today. Have you ever heard of Kitabut Tauheed? You ever heard of Kitabut Tauheed? How about you? Anything, Kitabut Tauheed.
I've heard about it, I'm not ready.
Kitabut Tauheed.
No.
Kitabut Tauheed, the most authentic book on the Dunya, in the face of the Dunya, is after the Quran, that has no mistakes. What's the most authentic book in the Dunya after the Quran? Put your hand up if you know. After the Quran, the most authentic book in the Dunya. You sharing the answer with people?
He never talked to me.
She started shining.
Nah, man. What is it? Sahih Bukhari. Inside of Sahih Bukhari is Kitab At-Thahabi. Is that the book we were dealing with earlier today? Huh?
Yeah.
Inside Sahih Bukhari.
No.
Earlier today we did with Kitab At-Thahabi from Sahih Bukhari today.
No.
We're just dealing with the book itself.
What Kitab At-Thahabi did we deal with earlier today? Which one? Huh?
Abdul Wahhab.
Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, when we were dealing with that book, is Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab a Nabi from the Anbiya of Islam?
No.
Did he make mistakes?
Yes.
Is he a scholar of his religion?
Yes.
Is he a good scholar?
He's very good.
Do we agree with everything that he said?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. After Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is there any person who's a Nabi after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? No. So today, the second book that the Shabab chose was the Nawaqid of al-Islam. We went through an introduction that took 2 Saturdays, 2 classes today, 2 classes. And I don't believe that you guys have no idea at all. Yes.
You know, because the first Saturday it was raining, that's why not a lot of people were here. The first Saturday
We combined the prayer.
You done 2 lessons at the same time.
Yeah, we combined the prayer. That's right. I remember that.
So I wasn't there and most of the students weren't there.
I remember that. We combined the prayer.
He was here.
Yeah, them two are here, definitely.
Also,
It was only
It's
me.
too
it was only me.
All right, guys, no problem, no problem. What we'll do is we'll delay the information concerning the first knocker because all of the other Shabab are not here. And although they were older, trying to make the tawazun between the young ones, you guys, and those older ones has been a challenge. But they're not here. And they're the ones who chose the book. But at the same time, though, you were here. Some of you were here because you're always here. And you don't even remember. You don't remember what?
No, he wasn't here.
always here.
He wasn't
It was
here.
only me. I was in
The day it was raining
I was
like
in
heavy.
Yeah,
He was
we
here.
went every day.
Alright, once again, listen. Once again, I want to give a shout out and give props to Akram for what he did. MashaAllah. I'm super impressed with this kid right
He
here.
gave his £5
Akram. I have to tell, I have to tell all of you guys, I have nothing but love for all of the Shabab of the community, but some of you, sometimes you do super duper things, like this kid right here, from the, what was it called again? The residential. The residential. I wish you would have come, I wish you would have come.
When?
You would have enjoyed it. 2 weeks ago, over the weekend, the last summer holidays. Anyway, we're going to come back to the issue of today. So the Imam of both of the books is Al-Imam Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, rahmatullahi alayhi. Are you a Wahhabi? Are you a Wahhabi? Are you a Wahhabi? None of us are Wahhabis. That's a word that people shouldn't use to describe Muslims. It's like many of the other words that we talked about earlier today. The ayat of the Quran is clear. وَلَا تَلْمِزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ. Don't call each other by negative nicknames and speak with disrespect to each other. Give me an example of disrespect.
Swearing.
Swearing.
Shaming someone.
Shaming.
Backbiting, blasphemy.
No, we gave examples today. Things that you guys do
Okay.
in your house. And it causes your younger siblings to do the same thing. Don't give me those generic, general ones, swearing.
Nicknames.
The ayat said, وَلَا تَنَابِزُوا بِالْأَلْقَابِ. Give me an example of that. Don't be speaking to people in the bad way. What? That we gave an example? Saying an idiot.
Dumbo.
Dumbo.
Fight.
What?
Fight.
What you say?
Retarded.
Huh?
Retarded.
Retarded. Calling your brothers and your sisters those names.
Hobo.
And calling Muslims those names. So now, we said that the hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
ولا تنابزوا أنفسكم بالألقاب. Like you don't call the person by the name he don't like it.
Exactly.
He don't like it. He don't want
That's what we
it.
mentioned. We went over that earlier today. So now, we mentioned the hadith, and I want you to translate the hadith. إن الله يبعث على كل 100 سنة من يجدد لأمتي أمر دينها. You,
Respect your woman.
huh?
Why laughing?
Come on, man, stop joking around. It's not a time to be joking around. You know? Huh?
Respect your woman.
It doesn't mean that.
That's not what the hadith said. That's what he thought. It's off. It's way off. But don't laugh at him, because you had me thinking he said something else. No, the hadith didn't say that. Yes.
Every 100 years it will be renewed.
Every 100 years, Allah will send a renewer of this religion. A renewer. A mujaddid. That word is from what? Mujaddid is from what Arabic word?
Jadid.
Jadid. We said that Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, inshallah, is a mujaddid. Inshallah. Inshallah. A mujaddid. You guys remember that? A mujaddid. So the mujaddid, what we want to do today in this particular class is get a clearer understanding of mujaddid. Now I mentioned to you before. And Imam Malik, what's our position concerning it?
Great.
Huh? Great scholar. He's and Imam Malik. What did we say about him? Is he a small scholar, a medium scholar,
Big scholar.
Great scholar.
a major? And Imam Abu Hanifa is what? Major scholar. And Imam Ahmed,
Major.
and Imam Shafi,
Major too.
major scholars. Is Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab similar to them?
No.
He's medium.
Is Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab similar to an Imam Malik and Imam Abu Hanifa and Imam Ahmed and Imam Shafi?
No.
No. Nowhere close. Those are major scholars. Major scholars. What we say? We consider him to be a mujaddid. And mujaddid means what? A renewer, reviver. So now the question is, for every 100 years Allah will send a reviver. That mujaddid, is he like a Rasul?
Nah, a normal person. Can be a normal person.
He's more than a normal person. So we say, we believe that he is a mujaddid. But now the question to test your intellect, why do we consider him a mujaddid? Why? Why? Yes.
Because the environment he was in, people were committing shirk and away from the
Good job.
Muslim.
The environment that he was in during that time, the Muslims at that place were worshiping trees, rocks, superstition. What month are we in right now?
Suffer.
You're not in Muharram.
Suffer.
Oh, you're cheating, man. You're looking at that thing.
He's not even on there, he's suffering.
We're in Safar. We're in the second or the third day of Safar, the Islamic calendar. Pay attention, don't get lost. There's a hadith that says, La adwa, wa la hamma, wa la tayra, wa la safar. La safar. This month of Safar, the second month, it was a month that the non-Muslims of the Arabs, Quraysh and those people, they believe this month is a bad luck month. Superstition, like the dream catcher, like Friday the 13th, like all of that superstition that these people have, all of that. They believe this was a bad month. During the time of Muhammad Abdul Wahhab, they went back to that khurafat, that nonsense, believing in trees, rocks, magic, jinn, all of that. And he came in that environment. And that's why we say, inshallah, this hadith is applicable to him. Mujaddid. Now listen, today I want to ask you guys a question. Because you guys are really young and you don't really remember a lot of the things that were happening before, but nonetheless, there were a lot of people, they said they were mujaddid. A mujaddid. A mujaddid. What's a mujaddid in the religion? Based upon what hadith?
Allah said every 100 years he'll send
Every 100 years there will be a mujaddid. That's an authentic hadith. Now the question is, can every Tom, Dick, and Harry be a mujaddid? Every Ahmed, Bakr, and Zayd is a mujaddid? All right. There was a guy from Sudan. His name was Hassan At-Thahabi. Hassan At-Thahabi. You guys are from Sudan. You don't even know this guy. Hassan At-Thahabi. They said
When was this?
like 10, 15, 20 years ago. You heard of Hassan At-Thahabi? Hassan At-Thahabi. He was a mujaddid. No, don't mess with it, man. It's going to start making it worse. Hassan At-Thahabi. I'm only mentioning his name, not to talk about him bad, because he's a dead person. Prophet Muhammad said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, la tasubbu al-amwat. Don't curse dead people, don't talk about them. قد تقدموا إلى ما جهز لهم. They went to get their thing. Don't talk about the dead people in a bad way. Muslim. Hassan At-Thahabi was giving dawah, and they say he was a mujaddid. What did he want to make tajdeed of? The tajdeed of the Muslim woman. So the person comes and said, we want to make the renewal of the Muslim woman. She doesn't have to wear hijab. She can be the imam in the masjid. She can give the adhan as the mu'adhina. So that renewal, that tajdeed, the hadith that we told you about, Does it apply to that? The hadith that we told you about. What's the hadith? Don't look around, man. Don't look around at other people. What's the hadith that we talked about the mujaddid and the tajdeed? What's the hadith? All right, you. What's the hadith that we mentioned about the mujaddid and a tajdeed? What's the hadith from Prophet Muhammad? What's the hadith? What's the hadith?
Indeed, Allah sends a reviver every 100 years.
What?
Allah sends a reviver every 100 years.
Every 100 years, Allah will send in this religion someone who will renew this religion. How many of you heard of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz? Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. You heard of him? Who was it? Huh? A what?
I don't know. I just heard of him.
The scholars of Islam say he was the first mujaddid. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He was the first mujaddid. And he's from the tabi'een. He's from those people we should know about. So again, the hadith. Listen guys. Allah will send every 100 years a person from Al-Islam who would renew and revive this religion. Tajdeed. All right, question. Does that mean that the religion of Islam will die? Will Al-Islam die? So why would Allah send a mujaddid, a reviver? Will Islam die? That's the question. That's a question. Will Islam die? Yeah, go ahead. I can't believe that after all these weeks, we're still putting up the left hands. I still can't believe that. Do you guys know what a lobotomy is? A lobotomy. Anybody know what a lobotomy? A lobotomy. Lobotomy. It's when you go to the hospital and they cut part of your brain out. We're still putting up the left hand in this class. How old are you, son? Yeah? 17. How old are you? I know you didn't. How old are you?
15.
15. How old are you?
16.
16. How old are you?
17.
17. And we still don't know that the Prophet ﷺ
17
used to love a tayammum in all of his affairs. A tayammum.
16
What is a tayammum?
16
Tayammum.
2 days.
I've heard of it. My dad spoke about it before, but I don't know what it is.
Well, there are two types. I don't want you to think about the other one. Rasulullah used to love a tayammum in all of his affairs.
When you travel and then
Not that. In all his affairs, man.
What is it?
I don't know, but the one he's saying, talking about that. We'll do
A
it.
tayammum you're talking about is when you make the wudu that we took. No. A tayammum, what?
is it when you like make wudu like something?
We
You
just
used
said
to
that.
like-
You said that, it's not that one.
Now, if you listen, you're gonna learn. He used to like the right in everything that he did. So if he combed his hair, that's why he was always missing out on the information, because he's talking to somebody else. And then he would say, no, I was just helping. He'll take the exam. Listen. He'll take the exam. In the big car. And he's ready to go. And they start the exam. And someone's saying, what kind of pencil do we have to use? And he'll say, no, that pencil over here. And then I say, hey, you're talking. Out. And you're out of the game. Rasulullah used to like a tayammum, meaning the right. He put his right shoe on, put his clothes on the right, comb his hair to the right, go into the hammam with the right. He go into the masjid with the right, into the house with the right, everything with your right.
Isn't it hammam with the left?
Yeah.
What you said with the right?
Okay, I stand corrected. Shukran.
That's
The
correct.
Sunnah is better than everything. I'm glad that you guys were on top of that. Good job. So he used to like the right in everything. So when you put your hand up, because now when I mentioned this, the people with their left hands up, the doodle hands up, they was jumping. They was jumping on me now, but it's okay, Because the hop is the hop. So what hand we put up, guys?
Right.
Can you show me your right hands, please?
Uh-huh.
See. Unbelievable. He put his left hand up still. All right, guys, listen. A tajdeed. What is a tajdeed?
Renewal.
A tajdeed is not when a person comes and say we want to make a new Muslim woman, or we want to make the new Muslim idea. The new Muslim idea can be you don't have to pray, you don't have to do anything. It's the tajdeed. Is that the correct understanding of tajdeed?
No.
That's not the correct understanding. So this is the second half of what we wanted you guys to understand from earlier today. Shaykh al-Islam. Listen, Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, they called him Shaykh al-Islam. Shaykh al-Islam. Shaykh al-Islam. Is that a big word or a small word?
Big word.
Is that a big title?
Big title.
Very big.
All right, this is the last point we want to deal with today, and I want you to pay attention. You guys are growing up. The Muslim community, they have ghulu and scholars and people and stuff. Pay attention, pay attention. I told you earlier today, pay attention, it's a question. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, is he a scholar or is he an ignorant person?
Scholar.
Scholar. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, is he a good scholar or a bad scholar?
Good.
A good scholar. Do we talk bad about scholars in Islam?
No.
Anybody who's talking bad about a scholar in Islam around you, you have to run away from them the way you run away from a lion, a real lion. I'm not talking about on TV, a real lion. Because a real lion is about 4 or 5 times bigger than everybody here. A real lion. You ever saw someone who has leprosy? It's a terrible disease. Prophet Muhammad said, run away from them the way you run away from a lion. Anybody here in Leeds, before I moved to Leeds, there were some youngsters here in Leeds who got caught up in some crazy terrorism, radicalism stuff. They're doing stuff on their own. I don't want you guys to be on that. Anybody who talk bad about the ulama of Islam, past or present, you run away. Don't even debate, discuss. Run away. So Muhammad Abdul Wahhab is a good scholar because there are bad scholars in Islam. There are. Now, some people give names to scholars like Shaykh al-Islam. Is Shaykh al-Islam a big name, nickname, or a small one?
Big.
Very big. Now, is it permissible to call someone like Muhammad Abdul Wahhab the Mujaddid of al-Islam? Is that okay? Now I'm going to say to you, listen. Some of the scholars of Islam said, no, we shouldn't use those things. We shouldn't say those big words for people because we don't find the companions doing that. Abu Bakr and Uthman, Ali, they didn't say those things about people. So we should stay away from it. But as time went on, some of the major scholars, they said that. They called some major scholars like those kind of names. How many of you know of Imam An-Nawawi? An-Nawawi. And Imam An-Nawawi wrote a lot of books in Islam. Name a book that he wrote. Name a book. Name a book. Name a book. Al-Arba'in An-Nawawiyya. Good job. Good job. And Imam An-Nawawi wrote many books. What was his madhab? And Imam Al-Bayhaqi, what was his madhab?
Shafi'i.
Shafi'i. Nawawi was what? Shafi'i. Shafi'i. Another book by Imam An-Nawawi, guys. Come on, man. This is embarrassing. Yes. Riyadh al-Salihin. Now, from this class, you get the name Shaykh al-Islam. Hey guys, and Imam An-Nawawi. Some of the people called, listen to this is important. And Nawawi, some of the people called him Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin. His name was Zakaria bin Yahya. But some of the scholars called him Muhyiddin. Someone translate for me, Muhyiddin. Allahu alladhi yuhyi wa yumeet. Muhyiddin. What is Muhyiddin?
Bring it back to life.
To bring something back to life. Pay attention, man. Al-Imam An-Nawawi, due to his tawada, he was a real humble person. He said, if anyone calls me Muhyiddin, I won't forgive you in front of Allah. He said the deen of Islam never died that I become Muhyiddin. He didn't like that name. So it's not a good name to call your kid Sadruddin, Tajuddin. It's not a good name. Companions didn't say that. When they had children, they didn't call the kid Muhyiddin, Sadruddin, Tajuddin, many of these names. It has a ghulu, going overboard. And Imam An-Nawawi, showing his humility, anybody who say that to me, Muhyiddin, and it was positive, because he wasn't into that. Don't big me up. The deen never died. There's a hadith, Prophet Muhammad said, لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق منصورا. There will always be a group of people on the truth from my religion. لا تزال طائفة من أمتي على الحق منصورا. There will always be a group of people from my ummah on the truth. And that's what you guys have to be. That doesn't mean you're with this group, or that group, or that group, or this madhab, that masjid. It's your understanding of Islam and your application. So back to Imam An-Nawawi. You guys with me? And Imam An-Nawawi. Some people give these names like Ayatollah. When I became a Muslim in 1986 in Iran, the leader there, his name was Khomeini. You know Khomeini? They call him Ayatollah al-Khomeini. Ayatollah, the Ayat of Allah. That was the name of the leader in Iran. Can you call yourself that? Can you call yourself that? You can't call yourself that. What are you talking about? Ayatollah. So if I go against if I don't agree with you, I go against the Ayat of Allah. No. But some good scholars had extreme names too, like Hujjatullah. What's the translation of Hujjatullah? Hujjah. What's your dalil? What's your hujjah? What's your hujjah?
Excuse.
That's udhra. Your udhr. Your hujjah. Where's your dalil? Where's your burhan? Where's your hujjah? Hujjah is like a proof, a dalil, proof. Look, from the ulama of Islam is Al-Imam Al-Ghazali. You guys heard of the Ghazali?
Yeah.
You did? They called him Hujjatullah. Al-Juwayni, they called him Hujjatullah. These names shouldn't be used. As for Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, now, some of the big scholars, they have those kind of names. Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah, Al-Imam Ahmed, they call him Imam Ahl Sunnah. Is that a big name or a small name?
Big name.
You're saying it like you don't know, man. They call Imam Ahmed ibn Hanbal Imam Ahl Sunnah. Is that a big name or a small name?
It's small.
Who is Imam Ahmed? Who is he?
He's a student of Imam Shafi.
He was a student of Imam.
Shafi.
No, Imam Shafi was a student of
No, it's Imam
a
Shafi.
student of him. No, you're right. He was a student of Imam
He's a
Shafi.
major
Right.
scholar.
Huh?
Major scholar.
Major scholar from the four Imams. Hey, my man. Hey, my man, what you doing? What you doing? What you doing? And Imam Ahmed was one of the major Imams of Al-Islam. One of the major Imams. They call him the Imam of Ahl Sunnah. Why do they call him that? Because other major scholars like him and above him gave him that name. So if all of those scholars did that, who are we to come against that? Who are we? Who are we? But other people, they'll call this man Hujjatullah and Huwaini. No, we say no. Because the aqidah of the person is not the correct aqidah of Al-Islam. Okay, guys, we're going to stop here, inshallah. I want to ask you real quick. Muhammad Abdul Wahab, is he mistakeless?
No.
Is everything in what he wrote perfect? Is he higher than Imam al-Bukhari? Is he a mujaddid?
Maybe.
Inshallah, maybe. Inshallah. We believe that. We hope that. If you don't say he's a mujaddid, if you don't say that, are you a kafir? If you disagree with him, are you a kafir? What was his madhab?
Hanafi.
What was his madhab?
Or Hanifa.
Shafi'i.
His madhab was Hanbali, I told you guys.
That's what I said.
Yeah, but you got scared and you backed up after that.
said it all. I said it all.
You got scared and you
I said
backed
Hanbali.
up.
I said Hanbali.
That's the whole thing I'm trying to teach you guys.
I didn't say anything.
The class is just not about, the class is just not about the information. It's about having adab between yourselves. It's about stuff. It's about having adab. It's about how you sit in the majlis, not like you got a cigar in your mouth and you know, a British man, you know, British Empire type thing. It's about respecting each other. And it's also about getting strong and not being scared and getting moved off your square. You did say Hanbali, but then when I said you, and you was like scared to say no, it's Hanbali, and I told you a million times. You know, during the course of the week when we have 60 kids before me, 60, you know all of those kids. With the big ones, the girls, and the little ones. It's quite a, it takes a lot to keep everything in control. Now I have the older brother, 16, 7. How old are you, 27?
14.
How old are you?
16.
16. I have the big kids. You keep talking. And always excuses. Always. Read your notebooks from earlier today. That's why you don't know when I ask you, Hanbali, Shafi, you don't know. All right. I'm gonna give you 100 pounds.
100.
Wallahi.
Now I'm awake.
And why is it that every time we mention money, then you guys become serious students? I think with you guys, if I always said money, you can build computers, you can build spaceships. Because as soon as you guys did, you were already. 100 pounds. Wallahi. Wallahi. All right. I told you about the hadith. I told you about the hadith of
Watch him get the £100.
I told you about the hadith of Abu Shah. Abu Shah. Tell me about Abu Shah and what is connected to right now. Wallahi billahi shallahi. 100 pounds. That's the problem. Because you never pay attention.
Abu Shah.
Wallahi I told you.
What's his actual name?
What's his real name?
Abu Shah.
Father of Shah.
Alright.
I did this. No, not tell us. Give us a second.
I'll tell you.
Is that connected to Islam?
Oh, I'm thinking.
Tell you now. Alright. Inshallah, I'm gonna tell you Abu Shah. I told you guys when I was encouraging you about the importance of writing down. Yeah, you could come to the class and his brother. No. You could come and his brother. مجتمع قوم في بيت من بيوت الله يتلون كتاب الله ويتدارسونه فيما بينهم إلا نزلت عليهم الرحمة وغشتهم الرحمة إلا نزلت عليهم الرحمة وغشتهم الملائكة وذكرهم الله في من عنده. So if you come and you sit down in the dars, you get that hadith. Alright, shukran. You get the benefit. So if you come, alhamdulillah. But I keep telling you, you better come and write. And I said to you, the companion Abu Shah, radiyallahu anhu, at the Hajj, he said, Ya Rasulullah, I can't remember all of this. After Rasulullah said, Khudu anni manasikakum, learn about Hajj from me. Just like he got on the minbar and said, Sallu kama ra'aytumuni usalli. Pray as you saw me pray. And he gave him all of the ta'lim of the salah. We went over that. At Hajj, all of the manasik of Hajj. The man said, I don't know all of that, Rasulullah. He said, Uktubu the Abi Shah. Write down for him. Because if you write down, it's going to be there. Abu Hurairah narrated more hadith than any other companion except one. One companion narrated more hadith than Abu Hurairah. Who was he? Who was he?
Is this for 100 as well?
Huh?
Is this for 100 as well?
Yeah, 200. Who was
I
it?
was joking.
It was
It was
Abdullah ibn Amr ibn al-As, because he used to write down the hadith, and Abu Hurairah didn't. You guys, man, I don't know what to say about you. Anyway, we're gonna finish with this question here. Please. Yeah, inshallah, the message can help people, inshallah, who need help. No problem with that. We can help people. All right, Shabab. I'm going to tell you guys, man, I don't know. I just have to, I don't know, what should I say? Yeah, go ahead, bro. But did you see, Will, when I said 100 pounds, so everybody, you was, and then you got on your knees, everyone got on his knees, everyone perked up, you got ready to get the money. Everybody.
I didn't move.
Everybody.
You said now, but wait.
He said no, but wait.
But then to get the money, when I put the thing out on the table, everybody, it's like lobotomy time. Abu lobotomy. What's a lobotomy?
Take it out.
You get an operation, you take a
All
piece
of
of
it.
your brain
All
out.
of it.
How do you spell lobotomy? Lobotomy.
L-O-B.
No, L.A.
It's L-O. It's
L.A.
L-O.
L.A.
L.A. man.
Switch it, man.
At the same face off.
What's it?
L.A. man.
Lobotomy. Nah, man, it's L.A.
The American spelling is L-O.
American, but we're in
No,
England.
but
L.A.
do you see how you guys always have ikhtilaf between yourselves all the way? And we have the ikhtilaf, there's tanafur and tadaruf and tashaj all the time.
L.A. man.
Yeah, it's LA. I agree with them. I agree with that.
LA.
Okay, any questions? Any questions?
Oh, yeah.
Tomorrow we're going to resume Kitabut Tauheed inside of the book and from the book. And also we'll start to do with the nawaqid, the actual nawaqid and ashar. اتفضل يا أخي.
It's how it's logical because
What do you mean? I
Huh?
don't there. Wait.
Chef, it's right there.
No.
It's L-O.
But you said L.A.
I said L-O. I didn't
Yeah, it's
change.
L.O. What you guys doing?
Isn't it, man?
He showed
And
me.
what is a lobotomy, brother? What is it?
Lobotomy is when you have an operation to take a section out of the brain.
So people, if you go over information with them, like next week, inshallah, I'll ask you the same question. What's a mujaddid? What's a mujaddid?
Revival.
A reviver. And it comes from what hadith?
The Allah.
What do you mean? Answer the question.
He did.
What's the hadith,
No
brother?
excuses, man.
Every 100 years, Allah sends you a renewal.
My man. Who did the scholars say? Pay attention, man. Who did the scholars say was the first mujaddid of this ummah? You. Who? Who?
Umar ibn
Oh, yeah.
Abdul.
Umar, the way you remember him is Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. They're the what? What do you call them? Khulafa Rashidun. Umar. He's the grandfather of Umar ibn Abdul Aziz. He's his grandfather. They're connected. So if you remember Abu Bakr, Umar, some of the scholars like Imam Ahmed said, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz is the 5th Khalifa al-Rashid. They said, and Imam Ahmed in that hadith, عليكم بسنتي وسنة الخلفاء الراشدين المهديين من بعدي عضوا عليها بالنواجذ. Take my sunnah and the sunnah of the Khulafa al-Rashidin al-Mahdiyin. And Imam Ahmed said, Umar ibn Abdul Aziz was the 5th one. Because when he became the Khalifa of Islam, he helped the Sunnah, the Hadith, and he dealt with the deviants and the non-Muslims who are a problem for the Ummah of Islam. Umar ibn Abdul Aziz, tremendous personality in this religion. There's someone you should know from the Tabi'een. Someone you should know. Who's the best of the Tabi'een? I remember I told you guys about the Mukhadram. I don't even think you remember what a Mukhadram is because no one came. What is a Mukhadram?
It's someone who isn't a tabi'i or and isn't.
No. Who is a Mukhadram?
Person that didn't see the Prophet.
What?
Person that didn't see the Prophet.
He's a person who lived with the companions, but he never saw the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah died and he was there, but he never met him. And he died. But he's the same age as Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and all of those people. He's not from the Tabi'een. He didn't learn from the companions. He would have been a companion had he just met the Prophet. But the Prophet died before he met him. He's a mukhadram. And then the tabi'een, those generation of Muslims who came and they met the companions, Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali, all the rest of those companions. And who's the best of the companions? Who's the best of the companions? Abu Bakr. Who's the best of the tabi'een?
Hassan al-Basri?
There is a lot.
And Hassan al-Basri is a good try. No.
Sa'id bin Musayyib.
Sa'id ibn Musayyib is a good try. No. Good. There you go, brother.
Oh, yes.
I love that.
So that's what I say about you, man. Sometimes you're definitely one of the best kids in this community, inshallah, and the students.
One of not the
But you let these guys, you let all of this Shabbat, you let them distract you. What's his name? Uwais al-Qarni. Prophet Muhammad said, Khairu at-Tabi'een, Uwais al-Qarni. Where did he come from?
Yemen.
The best of the Tabi'een is Uwais al-Qarni. He's going to come to you from Yemen. And he was a barru nas biwalidatihi. He took care of his mother more than anybody. He was with his mother, took care of him, and he came to Medina. Prophet Muhammad said, when he comes, ask him to make dua for you. And he came during the khilaf of Umar. Good job, my man. All right, we're going to stop now, man. I got a lot to do. Salam alaikum.
غرباء غرباء